And welcome to Move the Line Prop Drop Show presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. I am Ryan Noonan, back to talk about the best way and the most profitable way to bet on NFL football, and that is through player props. We are live here, 2 p.m. Eastern every Friday on the 4for4 Bets YouTube channel, giving you our favorite player props and taking your questions. So if you are hanging out with us now on YouTube, jump in the chat. Let us know what your favorite look is for week one, or if you have thoughts on the play, feel free to ask. We'll give you our feedback or try to get to as many as possible at the end of the show. Joining us live on YouTube is your best chance to get the same number, same price on these plays that we are putting out here. If you prefer the podcast feed, it's going to be in your podcast feed probably on Friday nights. Subscribe to both the podcast and the YouTube channel so you do not miss a show. You support this free content by subscribing. It goes a long way in helping us continue to bring the very best content and tools in the industry here at 4for4. So just take a second, share the show, click the button. It goes a long way. Joining me here, as always, from Vegas, Connor Allen. How we doing, buddy?
Doing great. Live in Planet Hollywood right now. I'm feeling great after last night. Thankfully, a middle of the day show today. Not an early morning one. Those can be kind of rough. Wasn't feeling too hot this morning. Also, we have all day clear tomorrow. So pumped to be here. One of my favorite shows of the week always.
Love it. Very responsible. You're waking up early from Vegas after a Thursday night and a long night at the craps table. So good on you. Last year, people wouldn't remember necessarily. They didn't know what happened. Connor scrambled to get to the place on time. Got messed up with time zones and all sorts of stuff. So we were a little bit late going live in week one because Connor was not as prepared. But a year older, year wiser, and I really appreciate and respect that about you.
Comes from the heart.
People don't forget, Connor.
They don't forget, Slop.
No. And our voice is hopefully familiar to you and really excited about this one. Joining us every week in the space is a man who's already decided that he's going to win every bet he makes on Sunday, which is really exciting for you. You can find him on Odds Jam and on Twitter at Slop Rules. It is our friend John. Hi, Slop. Slop, we talk betting and picks and stuff all the time for a couple of years now. Really excited to finally get you on and do this weekly. Stoked to have you, my man. Welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here, man. You two are two of my favorites in this space. Fun, knowledgeable. I mean, what's better than that? You know what I mean?
Appreciate that, buddy. Excited to do this every week. It's going to be hopefully unique content for you. Again, we are going to do our best. Again, we know how the prop market works. If you're here watching a prop show, you're very, very familiar that this is a volatile market. We are going out of our way here to make sure that these are not stale lines. We're not telling you something that we played on Monday that's now long dead to brag about our CLV. Our goal is to make sure that we can get the same line and same price to as many people as possible while we're live here. So again, live is the key. Hang out with us. Again, subscribe so you don't miss a show. 2 episodes of Move the Line each week. In addition to the prop drop here on Fridays, our game preview show, Connor, myself, Sharp Clark, goes live on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's also a great time to scoop up the betting sub. It's where Connor and I put all of our plays out into our Discord for our subscribers. All the content that is possible and done over at 4for4 is included in the betting subscription. So all the tools, every article ranking, you're playing DFS. We got Daigle and TJ still cranking out great DFS content. All that is in there as well. And again, the Discord is really where you want to be. 4for4.com/plans is where you can get the betting sub. Right now, for limited time offer, next handful of people or so, we got a little bit of, I'm not sure exactly what the count is. The next few for subscribing, you get a $100 gift card to Fanatics to subscribe to the betting sub. So you're basically getting it for half off. You're going to buy yourself something this year at Fanatics. Head over there, take advantage of it, 4for4.com/plans. If you missed that and you're late, just DM us, DM the house account, Connor and myself. We'll get you a discount code. Or you can just use the promo code PropDrop. Is that still live, Connor?
Yep. 25% off Prop Drop, baby. Let's get it.
You can do both. Use the promo code PropDrop, 25% off, get it for cheaper, and you're going to get a $100 gift card. So you're getting a really, it's like a $300 deal for less than $100. So take advantage of that, 4for4.com/plans. All right. We're going to go all over the place, try to keep it fluid. We're going to have some stuff that we all like. We'll get some thoughts on some of the stuff that the other guys like here as well. I think we're going to maybe have some ladders. I think maybe we'll have some same game parlays or at least some discussions around that. I'm going to get to some tackle stuff later in the show. We're going to do all we can to give you guys the goods here every week. Connor, floor is yours. First play for week 1.
Yeah, my first play of the official new move the line prop drop. I'm going with Khalil Herbert over 49.5 rushing yards. This has seen some steam downwards, and honestly, I personally just don't get it. We're looking at a guy here who has very clearly locked up all the early down work for Chicago, was playing the starters with Chicago, was great last year according to all the metrics. Now he's getting a matchup in Green Bay. Green Bay was dead last in run defense EPA per play last year. And if we look at the 2 games against Chicago against Green Bay last year, they ran the ball a shitload. They knew that that's their weakness. Now, obviously, Chicago was really run heavy as is, but they know that that was Green Bay's weakness. They ran it 27 and 25 total times, and the running backs combined for 160 yards on 19 carries in their first game, then 82 yards on 17 carries. So you're getting me Khalil Herbert, probably, 12 to 15 carries in this spot here. I think he goes well over 50 yards. I like the ladders here. I played some 75 plus at like plus 390. I played some 100 plus rushing yards. Ooh. On top of that, absolute banger, 50-1 to lead the week in rushing.
Wow.
That's hot. That is hot. He gets 17, 18 carries against the Green Bay defense, and we are very live.
Well, where was that? Is it FanDuel?
DraftKings right now. No FanDuel ladders are available yet. Hopefully soon.
Okay. I like that one. We've been talking about that early in the week. I don't know. I've been pegged as like a Khalil Herbert hater this year. I think that's like down the road. I just kind of like more so anything. I'm pro Rashawn Johnson as the season goes along, but week 1 in this matchup against Green Bay, as you laid out, I like it. What are your thoughts there, Slop?
I don't mind it. To be honest with you, I hate the running back ones because they're just so hard. They're like just very hard. I'm the receiving guy. So It kind of makes it the perfect team. We got the running back with Connor, and I'll be your receiver.
Love it.
Perfect.
I'll stay on the other side of the ball. We'll do as much of that as possible.
You'll tackle everybody.
Yeah. Try to tackle both of you guys.
Everyone wins.
Slop, how about you? First play for you. What do you got?
I've been looking at this one all day. So, I work at Odds Gym, obviously, and they have a screen, and I've been staring at this screen. I can't even believe it exists. It's Chris Godwin. Over 52.5 receiving yards at FanDuel right now. All the other books are at 55.5. Caesars is at 56.5. The DFS books are 57.5, 58.5. You can just go to FanDuel, since they're the lowest, and get him at 60 plus for plus 120. I just feel like that is unbeatable. Like for the games, the situation they're going to be in, right? I think the Bucs are going to get rolled, and it's not going to be close. I think the Vikings are just going to hammer them. But at the same time, that means that we're throwing the ball. There is Evans, don't get me wrong, but it's Evans and Godwin. And guess who's given up more receiving yards for receivers in each of the last 2 years? What team? Vikings.
And it's only going to get worse this year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I get that it's Baker Mayfield. I get all that, but it's 60 yards. Like that's not very hard to get whenever you're talking about, a negative game script like this. Even if it's not a negative game script, guess what? If they do get down there, it's because of Chris Godwin probably. So 60 plus 120, there's no chance that's going to be available later in the week. I don't think.
Yeah, I like it, Connor. Look, we've been like massively anti-Bucs for the Baker purposes, but when you think about like part of the handicap on the Vikings this season was Flores bringing in a new defense. He loves to blitz his face off. And when you got a quarterback like Baker, I got to get rid of the ball really quick anyway. I'm going to get blitzed. It's coming even quicker. I'm getting it to my slot guy. I don't have 3.5 seconds to wait for Mike Evans to get deep downfield. I got to get it out quick. That's Chris Godwin over the middle. I haven't been thinking of anything pro Bucs related, but I think Slot makes a good case. What are your thoughts?
That makes a ton of sense. I like that handicap there. I think maybe an Evans under too might be nice. But the issue I keep going back to, like the Vikings defense is going to be so unbelievably bad. Like I can't fade any passing game. I know it's Baker Mayfield and he sucks, like Slop said, but I can't fade him. So like you're saying, someone's going to catch the ball. They're going to have some big plays, especially if they're bringing the house in Minnesota. So a couple quick passes, Chris Godwin easily gets over 60.
Yeah.
Or what happens if they sit back? You know, like you're up late in the game, second half, couple scores. I just feel like this is it. It's 60 yards. It's not much.
Oh yeah.
There's outs for sure. All right. Well, I'm going to go back where Slop doesn't like, but I'm going to give you a same game parlay option. I'm going to stay in the game, and I'm going to go. This is another one. Connor and I were tossing back and forth. I don't really understand the Alexander Mattison line to open. You can get over 55.5 on PointsBet and -120. PointsBet's hard for some people. There's a 57.5 on FanDuel at +102, which is really interesting. DraftKings has a 75 plus alt line at +220. 75 plus is basically where his total yards number is. That's actually right in line with like where our rushing projection is for him this week as well. So like, I don't know. I just think there are like Madison doubters this season, but I also don't think for the same reasons like Khalil Herbert. I just don't think Myles Gaskin and Ty Chandler are really eating into his week 1 role at all. The Bucs were a below average rushing team last year, worse than people think. They went out and used the first round pick on Kalijah Kancey to help there. Kalijah Kancey might not even play. I haven't seen his Friday practice status yet, but he's been out so far. He's really not even like a big like run stuffing middle of the line space eater. He's more of like a get up the field, collapse the pocket, press, Aaron Donald type pass rusher from the inside. He might not even play in this game. So again, talking about some of the game script things that we anticipate here, I just kind of like the blend of opportunity and matchup at home for Mattison. I think he probably gets there through the air as well. I think it's like 13.5. I mean, it actually is predatory that when you look at his rushing number and his receiving number, you can hit over on both and still fall short of his combined rushing yards. Like, you love how the books do that to you. So be careful with those things, but I don't know. It's a great spot for him. I like him quite a bit. I know the offensive line is a challenge at times too, but I just think he's going to get a pretty good workload. Slop, I know this is not your line of business, but any thoughts on Mattison on the whole?
I can see it happen. I mean, again, it's one of those things that goes back to game script too, and that, I mean, you can get helped out later in that game too if, let's say you fall short early. Whatever happens with the Bucs defense, let's say, like, who knows? But later in the game, you get home, not a big total, not bad for me.
It's 2-leg same game parlay. Chris Godwin over, Alexander Mattison over in your rushing yards. And there you go. Plus 235 or something. Hopefully somewhere that does decent odds booking. Probably should be like 260, but I don't know. I'm sure you can get plus 230 or something on that somewhere.
Hit alts on both. Parlay alts on both. What do you think?
I can put hang on. Oh, it went up to plus 122 right after I bet that. Smart. So little same game.
Moving lines.
Get plus 323.
Ooh, okay. All right, cooking. Connor, any Mattison thoughts?
Yeah, I like it. I've been citing my boots on the ground people, and the boots on the ground people, in the Vikings side said that it's going to be Alexander Mattison to start. They don't necessarily love him, but again, this is a 1-game bet. So, I don't really care about the rest of the season. So a little sketchy in fantasy, but for betting purposes this week, I think it could be wheels up. Yeah.
Again, I think there's a lot of similarities to the Herbert thing where week 1, I feel like we're okay. So again, a lot of you hanging out in the chat. We appreciate it. Jump in there. Let us know what you're looking at for week 1. We will get to it. It's our favorite part. Fire stuff in there. Something you like, something you want our thoughts on. Hit us with anything. We will circle back to that, get to as many as we can with the time remaining. Connor, back to you for prop number 2.
Yeah, prop number 2. Also, shout out to Darren Summer here in the chat. Stale bread greater than stale lines. Yeah, that's true. No stale bread here, but either way, I agree. All right, my second one is going to be Michael Pittman under 4.5 receptions. I know this seems low compared to what Michael Pittman did last year, but I'm coming in hot here. I think that Anthony Richardson and this Colts offense is going to run the piss out of the ball like an unbelievable amount. I think we're going to see fewer than 20 pass attempts from Anthony Richardson. I would not be surprised if Anthony Richardson has more rushing yards than passing yards in this game. And I know that is boiling hot, but again, boots on the ground people said that Shane Steichen all offseason was watching not NFL tape, not air raid tape, high school and college wishbone tape. They're going to put 3 guys in the backfield, be running misdirection, be running the ball as much as possible, taking advantage of Anthony Richardson's strength, which is his athleticism, which is his size, and not trying to throw the ball to Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce. I mean, I think there's going to be such low volume. And when he does throw the ball, they're going to have to throw it eventually, probably unless it turns into an Army-Navy. I think we're going to have to probably see a little bit more Josh Downs, maybe a little bit Alec Pierce. Maybe he gets 3 catches, maybe 4. 5 catches to me just seems outrageous. Minus 125 at FanDuel, minus 120 at DK. I love that a lot on the under.
I think he's going to be the first look, though. So that's the only problem. But I understand the point that you're making. Still has to be an accurate pass. Still has to be one that he catches. So there are some other, issues that correlate to that going under. I'm interested in Anthony, not surprising. And sounds like maybe you are too. Get your thoughts on the Anthony Richardson rushing line. The Jags allowed the 3rd most rushing yards to quarterbacks last season. And we're at 45.5 on Caesars, a little juice to the over, minus 127. Rivers has 47, but a minus 117. MGM at 46.5 and minus 115. Are you interested in any of those plays? Looks like Pinnacle has a nice number 2 if you have access, if you like the over, 46.5 minus 103. Are you
Absolutely
playing that as well? Does that correlate?
I'm waiting for the carries. If we get 6 carries, 7 carries, 8 carries, I'm waiting for the carries because that's going to be just an absolute banger on the over. Because I think that's what they're putting 46.5 rushing yards. Probably relates to about like 7, 8 carries, I think. So, he's going to have, I'll say over 10 carries in this game.
Okay. Slop, where are you at on Anthony Richardson? Been something we've discussed a lot this offseason.
I would say look at the FanDuel ladders. If you like them that much, it's gonna be there. It's not up. I just checked right now. Like they don't have, from what I can see, they don't have a number for him rushing, but they will. They can't hide forever. And when they do, you're 50, 60, 70. Those are all going to be in play, especially if you like his carries, which I do too. Like I don't think they can trust that guy to throw the ball. So they're gonna have to do something. And yeah, I would run the ball if I were them.
Yeah, I think to be clear too, Noonan and I all offseason, I think, Noonan's a little bit more bullish than him in the short term, but the long-term outlook is great. He could be Josh Allen. He has a cannon of an arm. He's got a lot of I guess talent overall, but the tape was just so inconsistent, wildly inaccurate at times. Now he didn't get any help at Florida. He should get more help at Colts, but from everything we're hearing, it seems like that's not in the early plans for them just to run a spread or anything like that and have easy pitch and catch. I think it's going to be a lot of probably just run and then like a 60-yard pass attempt. Like that's probably what we're going to see.
I've literally been on 2 different shows today, and both shows somebody took Richardson over 45.5 rushing yards. So that's just there. It is. You know what
that's
I mean?
A sign.
So, yeah, that's a sign. That's a sign. They're trying to tell us something. Here's the thing, though. I don't think we see that number again. Like 45.5. That's another way to kind of look at it. It's like, what is it going to be week 2? Like, will it be 70 something? Because I think it could. Like, that's not that crazy. Just because, again, we don't know what they're going to do. It's not like we've seen this before. So that's when you take your shot on those ladders. So hurry up, FanDuel.
In my mind, Anthony Richardson's lines being above Justin Fields, not just above, 20 yards higher than Justin Fields is egregious. Like the most ridiculous line I've ever seen as an opener ever, maybe. And so. That's just I can't imagine in a scenario where if Anthony Richardson, how about this? Anthony Richardson comes out and throws for 250 yards. I'll wear a clown outfit on next week's show. It's just not happening. It is literally not happening.
Look, I think he was egregiously misused at Florida. I think that the first year will be a rocky road. I've made this case. They asked him to just basically run over dudes or throw over the top. There were no easy layups schemed into that offense. He was asked to throw to the boundary and 15 plus yards down the field with really no NFL caliber talent at wide receiver. So he wasn't really asked to do the things I think he's going to be asked to do at the next level. I believe in Shane Steichen. I think he's going to scheme layups for him eventually. I think that'll be RPO looks to Josh Downs. I think it'll be RPO looks to Michael Pittman in the season. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in the rushing yards with you and the carries with you as well. So yeah, I don't want to be carrying the torch for Anthony Richardson, but I'm definitely more bullish in the short term. I now am very much. Well, I want the clown suit. So
yeah, looks like Abby here in the chat. OMG, I want to see this clown outfit. Yeah, I don't have it yet, but I will buy one. I will go out.
Clown outfit?
No, but I'll go to whatever Party City or it's how there's the Halloween stores are starting to pop up. So I'll rock the clown outfit on air.
All right, that's a strong Strong Anthony Richardson take. All right, Slop, back to you. Second play for you.
All right, so this one, this could go poorly, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna at all. We're talking David Njoku over 33.5 receiving yards. I think this is another game script play. I don't think he's that bad. I think he is what he is, but 33.5 yards is kind of low. Went 59.5 last year against the same Bengals team. Well, most of the same. I think we're going to see scores go back and forth. They're going to need to throw the ball. I've been waiting all day to see an Elijah Moore number, and I think I see one now.
We got one, yeah.
But I don't – 32.5, 31.5. The thing with Njoku is he's 33.5 at FanDuel, 35.5 everywhere else. It looks like Pinnacle's got 36.5. So everybody's pretty much higher than FanDuel, so you can do that little old-school trick and go 40+, and that'll end up getting you – hang on, I'm finding it now. That's why actually that was plus 124. So grab a few bucks like that. But again, it's more of a they're gonna throw the ball. I think Deshaun Watson's kind of back now. I mean, it's a whole off season, like he's back. It's not the distractions that he had going on last year. Again, 33.5 yards. Come on, guys.
What do you think about the reception, Slop? Because I had that written down too. Because I'm looking at 2.5. Yeah. It's minus 175 though. No. I mean, that's tough. That's tough because I do like the receptions, but
do we have another? Yeah, the only problem with him is it's those red zone catches that they limit the yardage. You know what I mean? He catches a 2-yard touchdown pass. It's like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, they do they kind of honestly. I think they might use him like Kadarius Toney. You know, like they like try and like give him those like swing passes and like random like gadgety shit, right?
They'll try and throw it off his hands into the other.
That was the worst performance, by the way, I've ever seen.
That was unbelievable. That was unreal. Like, think about this. Like, Sky Moore should be getting all kinds of shit today.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, he's not because Kadarius Toney was so much worse. It wasn't even funny. Like, that was just historically bad.
See, but the issue is that at least Kadarius Toney was getting open and getting some targets, like – because he barely played. I mean, he ran like, whatever. It was like 15 routes or something like that. And had maybe 12 routes, I think, and like a couple targets. Sky Moore was on the field like every play and saw like a 7% target share. And when he did get targeted, he still didn't catch it. So, I mean, he sucks too.
It would have been like great catches. 2 of them would have been like, I'm going to say great. Good catch. It's not like Dwight Clark, but I mean, it's like there would have been nice catches, but both hands, guys, both hands. It hit both hands. Didn't pull it in either time. It's like really – I don't know. But anyways, yeah. Njoku,
yeah.
Back to Njoku.
We got back there somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Njoku play too. I think he's going to be heavily involved. He, like you said, nice rapport last year when he was out there with Deshaun Watson. No problem with that whatsoever. And pretty low threshold. So feel good about the tight end love that you have so far this week. So
always love the tight end.
I'm gonna go back to some other tight end. I'm in a weird spot where some of these things don't necessarily correlate, but I like a lot of Saints action this week, and some of it you can't. Some of it because of the way that they actually are, you can't same game parlay all of this. Maybe there's a book that's generous. Maybe our friends here at FanDuel will allow us to do some of this when they come fully to market on what they have out there. But there's a handful of things I like with the Saints, and I'm just going to run through them, to be honest. Well, first of all, Slop and I are both on Juwan Johnson. I like that one quite a bit. 27.5 receiving yards. I mean, Derek Carr is telling his brother to draft Juwan Johnson in fantasy. That seems like a good indicator. The Titans allowed the third most yards, a little over 1,100 receiving yards to tight ends last year, the third most targets to tight ends as well. Basically running it back in the back half. So there's nothing schematically that should be changing too much. I also really like Chris Olave to have, I think maybe longest reception is how I would want to go after Olave. Look, we don't think of Derek Carr this way. He had the third highest ADOT in the league last year. He likes to take deep shots. That's how Olave wins, and that's how the Titans lose often. They had allowed the 9th highest explosive pass rate in the league. I think they're 24.5 out there on Olave. Derek Carr, I think, is going to throw the ball a lot. Teams threw the ball 68.2% of the time against the Titans last year. This is the highest rate in the league. They don't want to really run against Simmons in that front. So teams often just kind of lean heavily on passing attempts, and Carr, especially with limited running backs here, with it looks like Kendre Miller out. We know that Alvin Kamara is out. We're going to have more Taysom Hill involved than we want, but I think you're going to see a fair amount of dropbacks from Derek Carr. But again, that doesn't correlate very well with my favorite play of the bunch, and that's Jamal Williams over 14.5 rushing attempts.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
someone has to run the ball, right?
Yeah.
So like if I'm counting these rushing attempts, the number there and the passing attempts, we're still only at like 50 plays, which is significantly below league average. So again, I mentioned no Kamara, no Miller. I just don't see how Jamal Williams isn't heavily involved in this game plan. Over 14.5 rushing attempts, minus 109 on Rivers. It's minus 115 on DraftKings, minus 119 on Caesars. Still waiting on a FanDuel line there. But like it's Tony Jones Jr. and Kirk Merritt, who's a real person. Those are the backup running backs behind Jamal Williams. Yeah, I think it's a creative player. I looked him up online. It was just kind of a blank avatar. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he played a Bishop Sycamore. So again, some of these are poorly correlated. I want to fully acknowledge that. But like, again, 31 pass attempts, 14 carries. We're like 40-something plays. They're going to run at least 50, 55. So there's still room within this thing for both of these things to happen. Again, Connor and I a complete donkey here for talking about some things that are, looking at over on passing attempts and rushing attempts for the same team.
No, it's really narrow. So like you said, like, what are we going to give the ball to Tony Bones like 10 times? Come on. It's going to be Jamal Williams. It's just a matter of like, we saw the Jags do it against the Titans where like, I think Travis Etienne had like 8 carries and like no one else got the ball because the Titans were so good at run defense. They just said, fuck it. Like, we're just going to pass every play.
Yeah.
That I think is a possibility. So that's my only concern is that they don't give him the run volume because he's going to run for like 2.5 yards per carry against this Titans front probably. I guess that's it. But everything else I think is totally sound. Like if the game just goes completely normal, like, whatever, neutral game script, no pick sixes off Kadarius Toney's hands, like they're just running, normal offense. Williams probably gets 16, 17 carries. Carr probably gets 32, 35 attempts. Can sing Kumbaya and you win both.
Yeah. Slop, I know I'm a donkey, but am I a donkey specifically for this take?
No, I actually like doing stuff like this. That way everyone jumps on you and calls you a donkey, and then it happened, and you can just kind of flip it on them. You know what I mean? It's like, who's the donkey now? But no, like I'm having a little bit of like PTSD from the time Connor came into the Thunderdome and he beat me because he did it was a 3-leg parlay, wasn't it? Same game. It was with the Eagles and they were playing the Titans. Was that the Titans that they were playing? It was. Yes, yep. It was a team that could not stop the pass because they were so good stop the run. He had like Jalen Hurts over rush or passing yards. He had I can't remember the other two. I'm sure you do, Connor. But
yeah, it was Jalen Hurts like 300 passing yards because his line was like 220. And we know the Eagles. I mean, they just scheme like whatever the defense takes them. So and then it was like Sanders under like whatever, something like that, correlated, and it was an absolute banger.
So you're definitely kind of like that was going to be all right. So I was going to make a giant like 9-leg parlay for Sunday, but it was really only going to be 3 legs because it's basically 3 situations. Does that make sense? And the Saints were one of those situations. And that way I could call it a 9-leg parlay, but in reality, it's literally a 3-leg parlay.
So what were you thinking for the Saints? Like, what would you take?
It was going to be literally who we just said, or Michael Thomas, depending on what ladder I could get Thomas at. But Thomas, I think, came out at 41, so it kind of ruined that for me. I would go with Olave at an elevated total, the one he's at, even though that's kind of crept up. I don't know what it opened at, but like, do you guys remember? Because I feel
it was
like
high 50s, low 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in the mid 60s right now. So like people are on that. So you take him with Juwan Johnson and Carr in the same game parlay, and then you just find, 2 other situations you like, and you have a nice little 9-legger. So you got the degenerate side, but it's also kind of smart. Like everyone wins.
Everyone wins. I love a nice casual 9-legger. If you don't have 1 or 2 in the holster for Sunday, like
what are you doing? Like,
come on,
it's football.
Yeah, you're missing.
You only get so many weeks, guys. Especially you want to do on a week 1 too, just to show your appreciation for being back because it's been a long summer.
I mean, look, they forced you into like dinger parlays. Like we need to show gratitude. Get back.
I was actually enjoying them too. Like that's the like the crazy part. It's like it was bad, man. It's a weird
Love
time.
it, guys. Keep Looks like James is dialed into the projected workload. Taysom Hill and Kendra Miller are projected to take 10 of the 25 carries in the game. I'm gonna wait until we get Kendra Miller officially ruled in or out, because that makes me, it doesn't look good. But again, if he's in, that would give me a little cause for concern. But like right now, I'm not, because I don't think Kendra Miller is going to play. But we'll have to wait and see. So, Taysom Hill is going to be annoying for sure. But I don't think he's taking like actual running back carries. He's going to take jet sweeps and some random BS that's always frustrating to watch when it happens. So, all right, keep jumping in the chat. Let us know some of the other stuff that you like here, Connor. Third pick.
Yeah, I had one that I have a bunch. Whoa, look at this. Look at this. We already got the clown out.
Yeah, if you're not watching on YouTube, we have the clown already up for Connor's face, which shout out to
Richardson hasn't even played a snap yet. This bum's going to throw for less than 100 yards, and I'm already getting the clown emoji out here. Come on. Oh, Sal. That's brutal. I love it, though. I love it. So
it's actually a very nice clown.
Well, yeah, not creepy.
No. I'm just going to talk about a couple plays that I think are interesting for my kind of third one here. I'm waiting on Jayden Reed lines. Christian Watson announced out, and Brian Sullivan talked about it in the chat with Watson out, Green Bay and wide receiver flux. Dylan over rushing, have to be committed to the run. I'm not sure they have to be committed, but they probably will anyways. I think that we're going to see a lot of Jayden Reed, a lot of Romeo Dobbs. I'm interested in those lines. I mean, what are we going to get? Like 40 maybe? That might be too high on Reed, but like 3.5 receptions, 4 receptions. I mean, all those are interesting to me. So that's one that I'm like, really waiting for. But I'm not really sure, honestly, like what we're going to see at that one. So that's a big one I have written down. Another one, Dak's pass attempts under. I know you got some lines there, but I need to do a little bit more math and kind of make sure that it's a good play, because we're seeing like 33.5, 34.5. I've talked about all offseason, but I think they're going to be massively run heavy compared to what we saw before. They were like 21st in pass rate over expectation last year with Dak. I think that probably falls like 30th, and they got a pretty nice matchup here against the Giants where they should be able to do whatever they want. So I think the attempts under is a pretty interesting look too, but have not played either of those officially. Hop in the Discord if you want the official plays. A little shout out to us.
Yeah, that's what you want to be. 4for4.com/plans. Promo code prop drop. You're going to get a $100 gift card as well. Prop drop's going to save you 25%. It's a win-win. And now when Connor gets to turn the lights on in that play, you'll have it. You get a push notification. All right, Slop. Connor, is that it? You're just doing 3? Do you have anything else do you want to get to? I don't know what we're what do I know? I don't even know what we're doing here.
No, yeah, I tried changing up the show sheet a little bit, and I think we're just going all up off the wall here, So I think we're just bouncing all over the place. Honestly, I have a couple other situations we can talk about, but like if
we'll get back to you.
Yeah, you guys have other plays, then whatever.
In my defense, I did not read the show sheet, so
same. I just host the show and try to steer the ship, so I definitely don't read the show sheet.
I will say that none of what we were talking about was on the show sheet, so that's
okay.
Good.
Yeah. Well, there it is.
Sal, there was a show sheet. Yeah, maybe I do deserve the clown emoji. Making a show sheet and then not even sharing with our producer. I mean, who the fuck am I, right? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Slop, what else you got?
All right, so I want to apologize first because I really wanted to go with the Jahan Dotson take, but man, he came out at like 40-something. I don't know what I thought he was going to come out with, and so there is that. But I'm kind of scared that the Commanders might actually kill the Cardinals, and then all this kind of like he doesn't have a big game, but I think he could have a gigantic game. For him, like 80, 90 plus, you know what I'm saying, is pretty big whenever you're going to get a ridiculous ladder at FanDuel for something like that. But I'm going to go with Gerald Everett. It's the same trick as before. Like he's 30.5 at FanDuel, and everywhere else he's a little bit higher, 32.5, 33.5, 34.5. So you can just go with the 40 plus again, and you're going to get that at plus 148. Here's the thing. It's a new offense. I think they're going to kind of want to show out first game of the season. The Dolphins, you got a team that can score on them, so that helps a lot. Also, too, Herbert is not broken. I mean, I think literally like he had like broken ribs. He's missing a lung last year. I mean, a lot of things were wrong with him. I think he's back. No more dump offs to Eckler. Those balls got to go somewhere. Everett is kind of a physical freak still. And yes. I mean, I know there's a lot of mouths to feed, but again, we're not asking him to set a record. He's got to get 40 yards to get, plus 140. I mean, that's very doable in his wheelhouse. I think he does it. I think it's going to actually be a really, really fun game. So I'm hoping for it. But again, Everett 40+, that feels good to me.
Connor, you're going to find someone in your life that loves you like Slop loves tight ends. You will be a very, very happy person.
This had to be just a brutal week for Slop. We got Kelsey out. We got Waller questionable now.
We didn't get Jonah Gray either until like way too late. Like I was already at bowling by the time I saw that there was lines. It sucks. Like I got a new thing where I'm not allowed to gamble like while I'm drinking. So I'm gonna see how that works. I don't know if it's gonna work, and I don't think it's gonna work, but like it might. So yeah, and I saw the line. I didn't take anything. It's also Watson, who kind of feels like a tight end, even though I know he's a receiver, but I didn't take him for the same reason. So I'm already off to an 0-2 start, basically, for that new rule I have. I should have just not had it, but yeah.
There's nothing worse than waking up after drinking while betting and being like, oh boy, I bet a lot of shit that I did not need to bet because you have some drunk galaxy brain, thought about some player. Then you wake up, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, what was I thinking?
All the time, dude. Like literally, like every time, you're out with your buddies. And like I said, like you get home, you go to bed, and then you wake up, like half the time, I don't even realize until it's like 11, and you're like, oh shit, like I did that, you know what I mean? Like, and then you go back in, you're like, what else did I do? And sure enough, there's more. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, I have a habit to do that with the pick'em sites, like the Prize Picks, Underdog, all them. So then I just start like massively just throwing in. Yeah, like nothing like a little 6-leg goat whale nuke, just like when I wake up and it's like, why did I put a couple $100 on this? This is no shot of hitting.
It's so fun to do, though. It's so fun to do. Like, I'll be honest with you, it's so fun. You and your buddy just sitting there like, you know what? Yeah, let's throw him in. Before you know it, like it's a genius move, and it's just not.
It's always better in the moment. If you could just again bottle that optimism in the moment and sell that, you'd be in a great spot. So
very rich. Yeah,
not for everyone.
So it did cost me money last night. Just saying, because I was all over. At least Watson, the first one he caught, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, it was like he covered in the one catch. It's like, I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
With those guys.
We went off on a tangent there. What was your play? Jahan Dotson? We didn't even talk about that at all.
To be honest with you.
It was
Gerald Everett.
Gerald Everett.
Tight end. My guys.
Yeah, into Gerald Everett for sure. But I think that the Chargers offense is gonna be elite. I want as many Chargers props as I can get. I think there's a little bit of a weird matchup with the Dolphins and Chargers. Talked about on the Move the Line, the other show a bit here, just because the Chargers were like a little kryptonite against the Dolphins last year, and Dolphins with Vic Fangio coming in. It just feels like strange. I just feel like we have a lot less certainty there than we normally would. But I would say that maybe we get an under on Gerald Everett this time, so we can bang overs the rest of the season.
I would do that too.
Yeah,
I don't give up on my guys either. I just put them on the list like they owe me money. Like I don't do a fade list at all. Like I think that's the dumbest possible thing you could do because
I agree. It's the dumbest.
Like, why am I fading this guy? Like he can't pay me back. The guy owes me money. Like and the only way he can get back to me is if I bet on him. And
you should martingale it.
Like you can never take his under after that because then if he goes over, now you hate him. You know what I mean? It's now it's a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just think again, I think it's gonna be a weird game. That's all I like. And everybody's gonna kind of feast a little bit, but like, dude, 40 yards isn't even feasting. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
like you
it's like a normal game.
Yeah, 4 catches, 42 yards. Like, okay, like, that's good.
Yeah.
And
doesn't need to break a record.
4 for 42. Clip that for me, please.
4 for 44.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. 4 for 44.
4 for 44, even better.
Company guy.
Brand.
Also, clip that for me too. Try to make me say it though, if you can. So,
Slop, are you a Kyle Pitts guy? I mean, 35.5 yards.
No. I mean, I like him. I just don't like the situation he's in. Does that make sense? Like if he could be like ridiculous, but he's not gonna be in Atlanta unless something changes.
He should be ridiculous, but it's pretty clear that they're not interested in using him that way. And hey, what do you do? Shout out to our boy Kevin.
Yep, 44
turns 44 today. Kevin, a very lucrative NBA follow for our subscribers in the Discord. Grinds fantasy hard as well. Shout out, happy birthday, Kev.
Nice work,
Should be in Vegas. Why is he not in Vegas?
Yeah, I know. I think something happened. He wasn't.
How
able
do
to
we
make
know
it
it's
this
not
year.
Vegas?
He came last year, and Kevin and I had a wild time. I'll say that it was. He parties, so it's a lot of fun.
Hey, don't get the guy in trouble, right? Don't bust his customer. It's all safe.
Fellow masshole as well. Kevin.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
What's up, Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin O'Brien, nice guy.
I'm gonna follow him on Twitter. I need to make money in the NBA too. We all got to pay bills.
Good.
You know what I mean?
He's really good. We got Connor.
I was gonna say we got a little question here. Sam S. Pickens over 42.5 seems hella low, and then I think he also dropped Pickens longest reception earlier. Maybe that was him. I think someone mentioned that. I think I would prefer longest reception. He's going to get his 2-3 shots, where he catches one of them. He's making that. If not, then he's probably falling well short of the yards anyways, in my opinion. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not really a Pickens guy. Are you guys George Pickens people?
I'm a Pickett guy.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's San Francisco. I don't know. I don't like to mess with them, especially in the receiving. I just don't mess with those games at all. Unless it's something. Yeah.
The under is one of our better projected plays on using our tool this week for Kenny Pickett. So I understand the hesitancy in week one, especially in the matchup.
I can't. I'd rather lose money than bet an under. So I'm just yeah.
We'll let Connor carry that water for us.
I love unders as much as Slop loves tight ends. Let's just say that.
Yeah, you love the under. The season ones, I get that. You've converted me on the season ones, but the only problem is now I'm rooting for guys to get hurt. I'm like, what am I doing? That's not what kind of person I am. So it kind of puts you in a weird place. Like the guy's like, oh, he tore his ACL. I'm like, sweet. I'd never be happy about that. So I'm sorry if that's ever happened to anybody, but and then the under and the late season matchups. I think it was you a couple years ago, whatever it was probably 17 last week's season or whatever. And Josh Allen,
yeah.
You had it under, and I was like, you know what, I'm going on it because that's an over on how few minutes he's going to play, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sure enough, it happened. He went well under because he did not play at all in the second half, and we all won. So it felt good.
That's one of the biggest edges late season. It's just banging unders on these random sites that are posting full regular game lines because they're just not paying attention. So happened last year with the Vikings too.
That
was you again. I did them on Prize Picks. I think I had 4 guys from that game on Prize Picks. Yep.
Yeah, and Cook, Jefferson, Cousins, and then I think there's one other guy too.
Cousins made us sweat.
Oh my God, he threw for 250 in the first half or something like that.
Yeah. I was like, guys, kind of relax, buddy. Trying to prove a point here. What? You get it.
I got one more, and then we'll talk to see if you guys have anything else. We'll get to some other questions.
Sweet.
This is another one that's a little bit unique. We kind of blind bet in Discord last year. There's a couple of blind bets that our subscribers did. We basically bet Eagles over 13.5 in the first half, just every week, and they just hit. Sometimes you would go over 1.5 touchdowns at plus money, and it was just kind of money in the bank. That, along with Nick Chubb longest rush over 15.5 consistently. I don't love the spot for Chubb. That number got beat up a little bit because our subscribers are back at it. That's up to 16.5. But I'm going to stay in the same lane. And I'm going to take Kenneth Walker over 15.5 for his longest rush in this spot against the Rams. The Rams are running out some sort of hybrid XFL, CFL defense this year. They're going to see how that works. I have an idea how it's going to work. It's not going to go very well. We had limited sample last year. We didn't see a lot of Kenneth Walker early in the season. Around week 4, week 5, he started to get meaningful carries. 12 games down the stretch. He topped this number in 8 of 12 games, and he was volatile, right? That's kind of why I like this with him instead, because he would go out and gash you for 30 and then have -5 yards over his next 4 carries. He topped this in both of the matchups last year against the Rams. The Rams last year were significantly better against the run than I expected him to be. Bobby Wagner was one of the most efficient linebackers in the league. He's gone. He's back in Seattle, so he'll be watching it on the other sideline. So I just think Kenneth Walker, again, another guy who maybe at some point in the season loses some work, maybe in third downs to Zach Charbonnet, but week 1, base down work, we're going to see Kenneth Walker, and he's going to pop one off here. 15.5 is a fairly low threshold for a guy that has kind of game-breaking ability. This is -115 on DraftKings. Also MGM, if you can get down there. Again, We're waiting for FanDuel. Hopefully they pop a 14.5 or something for us. But yeah, Kenneth Walker is going to break a big one. And again, we don't need him to do and sustain it throughout the whole game. We just need that one home run. And again, it's not even a home run. It's like a double Slop, 15.5.
I don't mind that at all. I think that the Rams are like with that defense, it's like an undercover way of tanking. You know what I mean? Like they're not saying they're just pretending they're not tanking, but I think they're going to be terrible. Like I really do. I think they're going to be very, very bad. I think something's really wrong with Stafford. And Cooper Kupp's already he's out. So, like, I just think they're going to – I think it's over for them. Like, they need to rebuild, and they know it. And that's literally a great way to do it, though.
Yeah, it's literally Aaron Donald and then, like, a bunch of your cousins, Slop. It's, like, literally no one.
Seriously.
No one is out there. I mean,
I actually have 2 cousins that play for them.
Is a bunch of day 3 or undrafted guys. It is going to be a disaster for them defensively, even if Stafford's good.
Yeah.
Even if, he resurrects – Cooper Kupp or makes Tutu Atwell a thing or whoever else is there.
I don't think he is either.
I know.
Every single out for them, it's like, yeah, no. You know what I mean? And then the next one, you go to you're like, dude, they don't have any. Like, are they going to win a game?
Yeah, I like this bet here. Dalton, Rams lowest points scored this week. I mean, look, if we have the Cardinals against the Commanders. I mean, their team total is 14.5, and I'm not sure how they score 10 points, but the Rams could be close. I mean, they're in that range too. Yeah, I don't know.
They moved. That line moved massively yesterday. It moved from 5.5 to 4 over the course of an hour. People were hammering the Rams. Can anyone explain that to me? Sharp Clark likes the Rams. I need someone to tell me why they like the Rams. I know you two don't, but jump in the chat. Let us know if you like the Rams, if you understand why that line moved from 5.5. It hung out there all summer at 5.5 and 6. Nothing's changed. Cooper Kupp is now not playing, and it moved to 4. I am dumbfounded.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Higbee, big game,
Maybe.
Tight end.
Yeah. Hey, it's your boy. Get in there.
Yeah. Don't look at tight end. What's he going to do?
I played I'll give a little closing line value circle jerk here. I think the under on Stafford for our subs at 240. That's 219 now. And honestly, I would still consider under. You're telling me Puka, whatever, Tutu Atwell and Skoranek or whatever, Van Jefferson, these bums are going to get 220 yards. How? No, he's going to up 150, 175 yards.
The Higbee goes for 90 plus. That's about it.
I love this bit. Week 1 bit is fantastic.
It's great. It's great. Dalton Cates, by the way, said Slop should be canceled.
Hey,
sorry, Slop. Week 1 and you're out, I guess.
It happened. I had a good run.
Checks in the mail. We appreciate it. Connor, you got some other things you said you want to highlight real quick, and then we'll kick it to Slop. I'll run down some tackles, and we'll jump and see what anyone else has here in the chat.
Yeah, if we can get a Devin Singletary rushing receiving under would be awesome. That's another fun one. Brian Robinson overs. I've been dabbling with that. You know that I
like both those. I like the Singletary carries under 5.5.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and his rushing yards is posted. Those are
it's 19 though. You know how many times I got burned on these backup bums that rip off one carry.
Yeah.
You told me every single time, you're why are you betting on these guys? Why are you betting on these guys? And I just couldn't help myself because I'm he's gonna see 2 carries. What do I do? And then he sees 3 carries and breaks a 10-yard run and I lose.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I like
when you bet unders, Slop. That's what happens when you bet unders.
Yep. You don't never bet the under. Even if it's the right move. Even if you're going to
almost always the right move, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
I have to really talk myself into it. It's harder for me.
I'm trying to watch the game too. This is about entertainment for me, as well. You want to win. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's competitive. It's a money thing too. Everyone wants to win. But once you get your bankroll kind of set and you know what kind of bettor you are, now it's about action. Because you've been to the public show, you've seen all the strings, how this works, and it's just give me some action. The last thing I want to do is sit down and be all right, guys, don't score. That sucks. You ever watch a game with under guys? You're just I hate you people. This is so stupid. Every time something good happens, throw the flag, or and it's dude, stop.
I bet the Noah Gray under yesterday, and oh my God, it was the worst sweat of my life. I mean, that literally 3 missed tackles on that play, and he ran for 20 yards, and we won. We ended up winning by 2 yards. He didn't catch past the rest of the game. Shout out to Sky Moore. Shout out to Kadarius Toney for being
Wait,
garbage.
You won on that under?
I won on the under. Under 33.5, he had 32.
I thought I saw it way lower. Maybe I was drinking at bowling, so maybe there's that. But like, I thought it was like way lower than that. All right, so I was only 0-1 then on the ones that I didn't take.
See, there you go.
Yeah, so it worked.
Longer you stay on the show, better the number gets. So
Perfect.
Any other looks, Slop, that you want to share with the folks that you're maybe something not out or whatever you got?
The only one that I'm waiting on is I want to see the Baltimore receivers. It looks like we got Andrews. Obviously, we like him. But I'm saying I want to see what Bateman comes out at. I want to see what Zay Flowers comes out at. Just because, I mean, a lot's been made about the Monken, move over there. They're not, in that Greg Roman thing where he's just going to run. He's going to throw the ball more. Let me see what those numbers come out to. I bet you Bateman, I don't think he's that bad. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of him. He's been hurt, but I don't know that he's not that bad. And at the same time with Flowers too, I mean, a lot of hype coming out. Let's see it. But, I mean, those numbers are going to have to be low. And like I said,
I mean, we can get some numbers in like the 30s, I think, for all three of them. And I think kind of like the Chiefs receivers last game, I said in our chat, you could reasonably hit the alt over on like literally anyone. Just pick your favorite, hit like 50 plus, 60 plus on all of them. Well, and I think you probably come out ahead. Yeah, one of them probably wins.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. Just do two of them, really. I mean, just find two. Do the whole give me one. But I bet you Bateman. I bet you he does something. Like I said, again, not a record, but dude, when you're diving into the dumpster there, like for a number, like dude, looking at 30-something yards, like come on, it's not that hard to do.
Jimmy Ward out as well for the Texans, the back half. One of their better signings this offseason coming over from San Francisco with D'Amico Ryans. So yeah, the secondary's beat up a little bit too. Don't hate that at all. So gonna be an interesting game. I'm interested to see like our thoughts around what we are perceiving the Monken offense to be and how that really kind of plays itself out in week one. Again, small sample theater. Don't jump to massive conclusions, but it's going to be interesting to see for sure.
I like to jump into massive conclusions after week one. That's my favorite part of the season. It's so fun.
Just go in.
Yeah,
confirmation bias in week two.
See what happens. Sometimes you come out the other side, but a lot of times you don't. But you make a lot of friends along the way, so that's fun.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, but Jahmyr Gibbs passed away last night, and he's no longer eligible to be drafted, no longer eligible to be bet on. He doesn't exist anymore. I mean, he's basically a bust. Like literally, that's what Twitter's told me. So it's done. It's done.
It's a fact.
It's a bust.
All right, I'm guessing we probably have some of Slop's audience here. Slop's audience might not be aware, but we like to dabble here. And by we, it's mostly me because I have a problem. It started kind of as a bit last year, joking with Connor. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bet on this guy to get a bunch of tackles this week. And it evolved into this process that now leads me to literally projecting anyone who's going to get even somewhat meaningful snaps, projecting what their tackle number is going to be. Because at first it was like, hey, I like these handful of guys, and then the books wouldn't post any of those guys, and I'd have a bunch of options, and I had no idea what to think of these guys. So I bet tackles, and I love it. Our subscribers love it, and it has been a very lucrative little endeavor for us. So there are tackles are posted on DraftKings, on Caesars, on Bet Rivers, and Bet MGM. Really desperately need our friends here at FanDuel to get in the mix and start giving us some tackle props. They dabbled in the Super Bowl, a little bit in the playoffs, but FanDuel, we want regular season tackle props here. There are none posted currently, but again, I have projections, and some of the things that go into the projections are matchup specific, like you would do any way that you would handicap normal offensive plays, linebacker performance against a team, etc. We also have scorekeeper data. Literally, this is subjective.
Oh my God.
Who gets the tackle is up to whoever's keeping score at the place. I have 3 years of scorekeeper data, home and road splits.
God. That's got to be the most degenerate thing I've ever heard. I love that. That is so good. No, you need that though. You're not wrong. I'm not laughing at. I'm more just like,
no, wow, it's fine. My wife laughs at me all the time.
Yep, you are really going in. I like it. We need that for NBA too. If you got an NBA guy for assists and rebounds, because that's a whole thing too. But
that's a thing. There's a subjective layer too, right? That was the whole Triple J thing, defensive player of the year. People were saying like Triple J's stats are, baked at home where like, he's getting like tip balls, getting blocks and steals and defend like tip passes and stuff. Like, yeah, there's a subjective piece to like when you watch a game, you look, hey, that was a solo tackle. Some places are like, no, that was an assisted tackle with these two guys.
Yep,
Some people are like, no, that guy was there first. Even though he didn't bring him down by himself, he gets the tackle. So scorekeeper data matters, especially at the tails. So we want to take advantage of it whenever we can. A couple of matchups that I'm looking at this week based off of what we're expecting to see here. So our boy Foray Aluakan, back-to-back league leader in tackles. Great matchup against the Colts. Connor has already talked about, we expect them to be very run heavy. Linebackers against Shane Steichen's Eagles last year averaged 22.1 tackles and assists per game last season. That was one of the highest marks in the league. And this is also one of the best scorekeeper matchups as well. Road teams in Indy averaged 25.9 assists per game. That is 4.3 more than league average. So if we're going to get like 8.5 or 9.5 on Aluakan, we're going to jam the over. Next is Cole Holcomb. He's going to be getting every down linebacker snaps for the Steelers. I think we maybe get like a 6.5 on Holcomb. I got him for like 8.3. He's going to wear the green dot, and that matters. That's the guy on the defensive side that is headset with the defensive coordinator who kind of calls the plays. He's going to likely rotate in and out a little bit, but I have him at 90% snaps. He probably plays like 95, so I wanted to go conservative. Great matchup against the Niners, who give up a ton of tackles to linebackers. And the Steelers also have one of the most generous scorekeepers in the game consistently. Last 3 years, very generous scorekeeper, especially for the home guys. Cole Holcomb, we're going to look for that number. Kaiser White is now the starting linebacker in Arizona. He's moved over from Philly with Jonathan Gannon, who was they were together in Philly. We know the game script here, right? Like, it's not going to be really good. There's going to be a lot of carries for the Commanders. And great script there. And then the Commander scorekeeper dishes out the 5th most overall assist and the highest rate of assists per game to visitors at 27.3. White's probably going to be at 7.5. I'm guessing. I got him for a tad over 8.5. Those are 3 that we're going to look for. Again, no numbers currently posted, but these guys should all be posted. They're main key starting linebackers for their teams. Books don't get cute. Give us these looks. We'll have a handful of those most likely on Sunday morning for our subscribers, again at 4 for 4 in the betting sub. So also looking at the linebacker duo for the Niners and the linebacker duo for the Broncos, our boy Alex Singleton, our tackle king. Those will be looks that we're looking for. So yeah, those will, again, they'll be pushed out to our subscribers. So get in there. We don't mess around. Ron Swanson said it best. Shout out to Slop and his shirts. Never half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing. Whole-ass tackles. And we were going to make some money this season, whole-assing tackles all season.
That is
let's go.
Incredible.
I thought you were literally out like insane when you first started doing this. And now I have so much respect for it because first off, I have no idea what you're talking about half the time. And the other half the time, I'm just so impressed with the data and everything you're pulling together. I mean, I'm also not saying, don't record this. It's already recorded, but I'm going to say it anyways. If you find me at some scorekeeper guy's house, slipping him a 20 or, a couple 20s just to rack up a couple of tackles here. Hey, you never know. Boots on the ground, baby, whatever it takes.
I'm not proud of this, but I think it needs to be said. I spent a wild amount of time on LinkedIn this offseason looking for these scorekeepers.
Did you find it?
I was Googling anything. I think I found the Cardinals scorekeeper. That was the only one that I really feel like I'm pretty sure this is the actual dude. Didn't have a ton of success because I also want to where this scorekeeper data is rolling over from last year. And I have 3 years of data. I feel really good about the ones that seem to be stickier, but if there's something that's more volatile, are they changing scorekeepers up? I don't want to be factoring that into the projection, giving it weight, and that guy's not there anymore. So we'll see. We'll adjust after a couple of games. We'll see if there's anything that's needs to be adjusted for. But again, going to go all in, and here we are. We have a high bar at 4 for 4, data-driven analysis, and hey, we want to be doing all we can. And tackles, they are not immune. We want to make sure that we're giving people the best data for the tackles as well.
I mean, this is borderline stalking.
No, it's 1,000% borderline stalking.
Go to jail to get this. So, this is good. I like it. Sometimes you got to commit a crime. I get it. You know what I mean? Whatever it takes. Smart.
Look, a reception's binary, right? It happens or it didn't.
Yeah.
Like, a tackle is not.
Tackles.
There's a little bit of there's some
100%.
like wiggle in there. So
that's literally why I don't love NBA like rebounds, assists, even blocks and stuff like that, because a steal, like they can just take that away. Just be like, yeah, no, we would look back at it. It was not, you're like, damn, they can't do that with points. And that's literally the same thing as tackles. Yep. Same exact thing.
We had it last night. All of a sudden,
know your score. And if you know any of these scorekeepers' names, please email them to Ryan.
Please.
That way he doesn't have to go.
Ryan@betspertsgroup.com.
Yes, please. Because that way you don't need him hawking people down on LinkedIn. Like, come on, help them out. Someone knows these people. Like everyone, you know what I'm saying? There's somebody knows who this keeper. Like, you know, come on. Don't make
I reached out to prominence. So like, the Super Bowl was in Arizona. And I reached out to, some people that we knew that were there. Like, hey, does the league do like a neutral scorekeeper? Or because I was pulling years past Super Bowl data and trying to match it to the home to see if there's anything there. Oh yeah, dude, I didn't go. There's nothing halfway here. So I was trying to find out, like, is it the Arizona scorekeeper? Or we don't play. Like, if you're new to the prop drop, we don't play. We're trying to win, and we're going to find any edge we can. I will dig to the depths of the earth to find this information so that we can, make better decisions and try to win. So, yeah.
I think a smart man once said, get rich or die stalking scorekeepers on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Trying, I
think
that's how it goes.
Song. It was actually a song. I heard it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
good. I love it. All right, we're at our time. We typically like to dig in and spend more time, but we're off the rails. We didn't follow. Shame on Slop and I. We didn't read the show sheet. We didn't know what we were doing here. We definitely had time baked in to talk about, what your questions were. So next week, more questions from you. We'll definitely carve out time. I won't have to go on my entire tackles diatribe. We won't have to share this scorekeeper story again and again. But Slop, let everyone know where they can find all your work, buddy.
At Slop Rules on Twitter, at Slop Rules on YouTube, at The Slop Rules on TikTok, and OddsJam. Go check it out. It's great tools. Help you out with the sports betting markets. They're very complex a lot of times. It's all put into one at OddsJam, so check it out.
Yeah, great resources at OddsJam for sure. Check that out. And don't forget, if you somehow are not following Slop on Twitter, rectify that. It is definitely worth your time and something that you'll get smarter and you'll laugh. And there's not necessarily a ton of that on Twitter these days or X these days. So it's a good combination of both.
Get a little dumber too.
Yeah, that's all right.
For everybody.
Yeah, we don't need to get smarter all the time. So, Connor, good stuff as always. Enjoy yourself. Travel safely. Don't lose all your money. Look forward to having you back, and thanks again for being on time today. So we really appreciate it. Hey, Delta.
On time with a mic that I brought with me. I mean, all I'm saying is it's a good day to get rich. Gonna hit the crap table after this. Got a fantasy draft with Sam Hoppin. Gonna be a fucking blast.
Love it. 4for4.com/plans, promo code prop drop. That's going to get you 25% off, and you're going to get a $100 gift card to Fanatics, guys. Please take advantage of that. That's going to get you access to everything we do at 4for4, gets you in the Discord, gets all of our picks live. We're pumping out these picks on the show as we go. So that's only a handful of what we do. Most of the stuff is behind the paywall. Take advantage of it. Every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we will be right here to do so. Smash the like button, subscribe, comments, thumbs up, all of it. We appreciate it. For Slop and Connor, I'm Ryan. We'll see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.